Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
What's that, you ask? What is it?
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Well, no one wants to miss it.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
We're going on a visit.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Come on, let's go with him.
New places, new faces. Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget's field trip.
Inspector Gadget here. I'm either swimming the canals of Venice, Italy, or lost in the world's largest, most intricate bird bath. Inconclusive. I'll keep you posted. The birds aren't bathing after all, so I deduce we're in Venice. Just where is this watery city? Go, go, Gadget map! Venice is near the top of Italy. Italy, of course, is in Europe, which is right here. According to my top-secret instructions from the chief, there are supposed to be hundreds of palaces around here somewhere. These are no ordinary palaces. No huge walls, no front lawns, no big plots of land. Instead, they have big plots of water. Venice is a swampy city made up of over 100 individual islands, all joined together by over 150 roads. In Venice, the roads are little rivers or canals called waterways. This all leads to one important message. Don't sleepwalk in Venice unless you are an excellent sleep swimmer. According to my Gadget guidebook, there are almost 400 palaces in Venice. Except here, they're called Palazzos. Let's investigate. Go, go, Gadget gondola. Along the Grand Canal, you can find piles and piles of palazzos. The Grand Canal is like Venice's main street. Almost all the other waterways are fed off this huge river that runs from one end of the city to the other. Because all the palaces are so close together and built on mud, a lot of people plant fruit gardens like these. I wonder how they get the worms up there. Maybe they have little worm elevators. It's slippery business. Some of the more wealthy Venetian merchants would build more than one palace. That way, they never had to make their beds. They just moved to another palace. This is the Palazzo Contarini del Bavolo. The Venetians nicknamed it the Snail because of the shape of its beautiful outdoor staircase. But I think it looks more like a corkscrew. Most palaces are named after the families that built them. The Contarini family built over 25 palaces on and around the Grand Canal. Since it became confusing to have 25 palazzos all named Palazzo Contarini, the family decided to name each of their palaces after a distinguishing feature. This is a palazzo, and it was built by the Contarini, but it's not called Palazzo Contarini anything. It's called Cadoro. which means golden house. Ca d'Oro got its name because it once had carvings and details that were covered in gold. The Ca d'Oro has a huge water gate at the bottom of the palace, where it meets the canal. Boats can ride the waves of the canal right into the palace. Getting them up the stairs is a little harder. And now an Inspector Gadget field trip fact. All these palaces are crammed into one of the world's smallest cities. In fact, you can actually walk from one end of Venice to the other in under an hour. Of course, you might get your feet wet. According to my keen detective sense, gondolas aren't the only water transportation in Venice. Venetians have all kinds of boats for all kinds of occasions. When you whistle for a taxi in Venice, a boat arrives to take you to your destination. When you need your garbage collected, it's not a huge truck that picks it up, it's a barge. When you call the police or the fire department, a boat speeds to your rescue. One can assume that their soggy morning papers are delivered by paperboys on little jet skis. The Palazzos of Venice are all spectacular, but there is one that truly stands out, or at least doesn't sink. For a long time, it was the only palazzo in Venice that was allowed to call itself a palazzo. It's the Palazzo Ducale, or Doge's Palace. The name Doge means leader. The Doge was kind of like the president of Venice. When he was elected for life. Hopefully, the Doges liked their jobs because they were stuck with them. The Doge's Palace was more than the home of the leader of Venice. It was also the center of Venetian government. It held the Hall of Justice as well as the prison. So it wasn't only where the ruler lived, but it was also where the rules were written and the people who broke the rules were locked up. Let's check the Doge's Palace to see if there are any prisoners left over. Go, Gadget, magnifying glass. That's no prisoner. It's the giant staircase. A huge staircase inside the center of the palace's courtyard. Wonder if the Doge was into step aerobics. Make that giant step aerobics. This is the spot on which the Doges were crowned, so that all of Venice could see the ceremony and join in with the festivities. Here are two guys left over from the last crowning ceremony. Oh, wait, that's Mars and Neptune, the gods of war and the sea. With all this water, you'd think the Doge's Palace would be safe from fires. Wrong. Would you believe the palace has survived 5 major fires? Would you believe an ambitious weenie roast? How about a small blaze in the wastepaper basket? This is the Bocca dei Leoni, or Lion's Mouth. In the old days, people who didn't pay their taxes or committed other crimes could be reported. They could be seen being publicly humiliated, stripped of their dignity, paraded before the local citizens right here. If that wasn't bad enough, you could end up in the torture chamber inside the Doge's Palace. Prisoners were hung from the walls by their wrists until they gave up whatever secrets they were hiding. If they still didn't tell, they were brought here, to this bridge called the Bridge of Sighs. It was called the Bridge of Sighs because it was often the last bridge prisoners walked across. If that doesn't make you sigh, I don't know what does. Once you get across the bridge, you'll find this prison that was added after the palace was built. Many famous convicts were held here, including Casanova, who, legend has it, made a daring escape through the prison's ceiling. Another connection from the palace to the outside world is called the Porta della Carta. This is a gateway that links the palace with St. Mark's Basilica, the huge church in the center of St. Mark's Square. Well, we've been plodding the Palazzos, careening through canals, and twisting through tempestuous torture chambers. Until next time, put on your swim fins and go Gadget field trip.
Beak.